You've heard the old saying, the show must go on? Not when they kill the lead actress. Head out to the Colossus Casino. It's the one that stages Broadway-style musicals. Stay alert. A young woman's life has been taken away from her. We can't give it back, but we can find the truth.
I'm Nick Stokes. Hope you're as good as I've heard, because we can stand to wrap this up fast. An event like this is the wrong kind of showstopper for all concerned. Let's go see where reality messed up the fantasy. Makeup appears to have been applied a little thicker here. What do you think? Whoa, some deep bruising peeking through that makeup. She had something to hide. Well, the special effect was a gunshot wound in the chest. Happens to be next to a real wound of some kind, close to the heart. Never consider a gunshot wound routine. They're all different. Never miss a chance to swab one. You know what a squib is, right? Explosive that simulates an impacting bullet? Gun-related effects are dangerous, and squibs are high on the list. Incorrectly prepped, they can wound an actor. Often, metal plates or other protective gear under the actor's clothes protect them from the blast. This stuff is usually used in film, and I gotta say, I don't care much for the idea of them in live theater. Some might call this a woman's gun. Small caliber revolver, perfect to pack in a purse, good fit for a smaller hand. Spent casing in the chamber. Is it possible that an actual bullet was fired out of this gun? Got some residual powder in the barrel here. When blanks are ready for a theatrical application, the bullet is removed from the cartridge, and a flash-producing additive is put in its place, like magnesium powder. Then the end is crimped. It's a mark, called a mark. Shows actors where to stand. It's used more in film than theater for camera purposes, but with special effects like these, those involved need to hit specific marks for safety, thanks to which we'll know exactly where the actors were supposed to be during this scene. I'm Nick Stokes with the Crime Lab, and this is my assistant. Are you with the production?
Yes, I'm an actress here, Heather Colby. I don't even know what to think, let alone to say. An awful thing. Terrible. Horrible.
Miss Colby, we know this is difficult for you and everyone here, but we're sure you'd like to help, and you can do that by answering a few questions.
This was our tech rehearsal. Standard for any production, but particularly important for one like ours. You know, with so many special effects, like the shooting scene.
Hang in there, Miss Colby. Now, could you walk us through it?
I really don't have all that much to tell you. First, we had the argument, and then, of course, I shot Meryl and began covering my tracks.
Whoa, Miss Colby, was that just a confession? If you have something important to share, you'll need to know your rights.
My rights? Oh, I can see how that sounded. I'm sorry. By covering my tracks, I mean, what I meant, that's the song title. Song I sing in the show right after that effects scene. And that's just what I did. That's how it's scripted. Meryl at her mark, I walk on stage, shoot her, and begin to sing. But this time at the end of the scene, Meryl she never got up. That had nothing to do with me. I was shooting a blank. That horrible squib must have exploded. She complained about them before, said she'd been burned, but this? I never heard of a squib killing anybody before. We were old friends. Kind of veterans of the wars, you know? All the way back to drama school in New York. And even then, it was obvious she was gonna make it. She had that combination of charisma and ambition that marks a real star. We worked together often, not a team so much as actors whose on-stage chemistry gelled so well that when the right roles came along, we got cast. Oh, I know, big talk, right? If we were such hot stuff, why were we still paying our dues in dinner theaters and regional productions? You got a right to say that about me, but not Meryl. She was nominated for a supporting Tony on Broadway just last season. And she's a star here in Vegas. She was a hometown girl, you know? And this production, she was great. Finally, the perfect part. And the buzz? People from both coasts were coming in for the premiere. I just know. I know. This would have done it for her. But then I guess this production was it for her, wasn't it? No, just the two of us, and Gus, the stage manager. He's also the technical director, and he insists pyrotechnic effects be rehearsed with the theater cleared of only himself and the actors. Safety's a big issue, and I guess you can see why. But he's around. His job sort of takes him here, there, and everywhere. I think the last time I saw him, he was heading for the prop room. Follow the signs backstage. On my mark. It's still on the stage. Even during the run, we keep them there. Again, because of the safety issues. And of course, Meryl was at her mark, standing in front of me, right where she wound up.
Blank rounds, crimped at the end where the bullet would normally go. Explode just like a real shot, though. Quite a few different calibers here. They probably go through these pretty fast. If these are real, we have our work cut out for us. Lots of different calibers. We'll need to learn more before any of these become meaningful to us. Fairly complete print. Hammer, screwdrivers, etc., nicely organized. Even a little anal retentive about it. Tools traced in pencil so he knows where to put them, which tells us one tool is missing, small, rectangular. Shots of Meryl, maybe during recent performances. These aren't publicity pics, though. Looks like candids. Sprinter mock cross trainers, size 10. Bit of water here. Rifle rack. One of the guns is missing, though.
Something you want? No problem. We'll bring the body right in. A single bullet entered the victim's chest, breaking apart as it struck the sternum, fragments going just deep enough to pierce the aorta. Using a basic body temperature or algor mortis analysis, I've got the time of death pegged at around time of the rehearsal. No great revelations for you, I'm afraid. Straightforward stuff. Actually, yes, several metal fragments, presumably from a bullet. They're all yours. I don't need them anymore, and neither does the Vic. Not that she ever did. Whew, been a wild night, so I'm not as far with Ms. Regis as I'd like to be. Frankly, I haven't even cleaned and prepped her. Anything else turns up, you'll be the first. Meantime, feel free to check the body over. I've got plenty to do.
Tiny bite-type marks. Clamping tool, possibly.
Hey. I amplified and graphed that DNA of yours, scanned it into the computer. Unsurprising discovery number 1. Substance you found is gunpowder mixed with magnesium powder. Unsurprising discovery number 2. Traces of plugging material. Gun you found was likely loaded with a blank and was fired recently. Prints in the computer for you. You're welcome. Water. Best I can do you is profile it chemically and let the computer help you find the source. Hey, Meryl Regis. Ever see her perform? She would have made it, I tell ya. Can I keep these?
I don't want them pasted in your scrapbook, Craig. I was thinking more like scan them into the image enhancement equipment, please.
This is a squib with a sound detector. Firing the prop gun causes the sound sensor to detonate the squib. But this one also seems to have a wireless receiver, for what purpose I can't tell you. Would seem redundant. Hey, this is an amateur night. Sophisticated setup. The blast plate was damaged, but that's not unusual. Explosive powder residue levels were consistent with a proper load. Our Vic must have felt a real kick when this baby went off, and no signs of tampering either. Just because it's a prop gun doesn't mean a little item like this can't fire real bullets. Can't confirm whether a bullet has been fired recently from this prop or not, but I can tell you it's a .22 caliber. This is what's known as an unfired blank round, .22 caliber. I scanned the shoe print into the computer. Small caliber bullet broken apart. If you don't tell Grissom, I'll make an educated guess. 22. These marks suggest a clamping tool. I may be able to match them to the right tool if you can bring it to me for comparison.
Meryl had a shiner when we found her. Let's take a closer look and see if she had it before she died, when this photo was taken. Hey, she did have that black eye before she was murdered. Finally getting somewhere. This candid is a real-life argument, not something from the show. Gus could have been stalking Meryl. Not sure if we've got a match in this group. Not sure if we've got a match in this group. So, the water from the prop room came from the pipes in the city's commercial water supply system. Since the 1950s, Vegas has had a dual water system. Regular water supply is drinkable, servicing the general population, but secondary treated wastewater, not drinkable, is reclaimed for commercial uses, often with a higher concentration of these elements. No surprise if the theater sprinkler system is hooked into this funkier water supply. Let's see, 9mm, 308, 338. Here we go, 22 caliber. Let's grab this one.
Hardly. We were colleagues and old friends. I already told you so. It's part of the scene. You know how hard this is for me? Please.
Really, killing her wasn't part of any scene. That's what we're asking, Heather.
She was my friend. Of course I didn't kill her.
I can understand you're upset, but understand what we're thinking. You were holding the gun, and the bullet fragments from Meryl's body matched the gun's caliber. Could that weapon have been loaded with something other than a blank?
I had nothing to do with loading it. I suppose it's possible. But no, even if someone else traded a live round for my blank, part of our stage training is to aim a weapon with a blank away from the other actor. It's an illusion. From the audience, you can't tell.
That sounds reasonable, Miss Colby. But you should know we can track the angle that a bullet enters a body, so it wouldn't do any good to...
Check it all you like. Upside down and sideways. Just leave me alone. Why are you harassing the victim's best friend? Are you that desperate for a suspect? I had to watch someone I loved die. Isn't that enough?
That's all we need right now.
Something you want? Be my guest.
We need to determine, from the wound and internal tissue damage, the trajectory of the fatal bullet. Using microsil to cast a wound, huh? I remember another newbie doing that. Unconventional, but whatever works. We should be able to get a trajectory from the mold and show that the shot either came from Heather's gun or didn't.
Yes? Dummy round. Just like a regular round, but a prop without gunpowder. Used for all kinds of stage work, except for actually shooting.
So, we've got prop bullets matching the caliber of bullet the doc recovered from the body. However, dummy bullets lack an explosive charge, but if a bullet was already in the chamber, the force of the blank round would have fired it out.
Looks like Heather Colby isn't the only one shooting blanks. You need a new suspect, guys. The cast shows the entry wound pointing downward from the body at a 30-degree angle, and a direct shot from the front.
Hey, ruling people out is a start, and this sure lends credibility to Heather's story. Let's set up a trajectory dummy at the theater. That way, we'll really know where the shot came from. This dummy will help us trace the bullet's trajectory. We know it was pointing down at about a 30-degree angle. Since actors are trained to face slightly toward the audience, the angle on the pointers would seem about right. Let's switch on Mr. Laser and see if he's pointing anywhere near Heather's mark. Let's see where it points to. Now that's interesting. It points right down to the orchestra pit. Some kind of electronic transmitter.
Well, the theater was supposed to be cleared, but it was pretty dark down there. I'm not sure where Gus was. He sure wasn't in view when I fired the gun. He started the scene, headed to the wings.
What's up? Hey, I scanned that print into the computer for you. Remote backup detonator. Can be used to trigger the squib should the gun fail. A logical backup in a theatrical situation.
The stage manager and pyrotechnician is Gus Harrison. During performances, he handled the backup detonator in the orchestra pit. Plus, he's got a criminal history. Of course, none of this proves he was in the pit at the time of the killing.
So he cleared the theater, had access to the orchestra pit, which is where we now think the shot came from. Plus he's got a criminal record and is the guy in charge of the pyrotechnics. Oh yeah, let's definitely get to know Gus better.
Mr. Harrison, we're with the crime lab. Can we have a word with you?
Sure, of course. Wondered when you CSIs would get around to me. Call me Gus, though. That's what my friends call me. Want to help any way I can. Doesn't do much for my rep, but fatality on my watch.
We'll keep it Mr. Harrison for now. We try to keep it professional.
Well, directors come and go, actors too. I'm sort of the continuity. The glue, you might say. But in an operation like this, a stage manager has to wear a lot of hats. So I'm also the technical director, in charge of props and pyrotechnics. I'm a believer in doing live effects, kind of things people are used to seeing in the movies, squibs and all. Can't have a sound effect over the sound system. That wouldn't even convince Grandma these days. Great gal. What can I say? She was the closest thing to a local star we have in Vegas, as far as legit theater is concerned. Hollywood and Broadway had been sniffing around. I worked with her before, but I wouldn't say we're friends. Co-workers. Friendly. Sure going to miss her. Well, whose else would there be? I told you, I'm the prop guy. Pyro man. That's a remote detonator. I push the button as a backup. If the gun blasts don't detonate the squib, last thing you want in the middle of a show is to have one of your big scenes go flat because an effect fizzles. I was in the pit with my backup device, watching the stunt go down. I always keep them handy. We just had a photo shoot the day before that rehearsal. Matter of fact, I put some of them dummy bullets in Heather's prop pistol. If the revolver cylinder was empty, it'd show in the stills.
Could one of the dummy bullets have been left in that gun?
Well, I suppose. I mean, I try to be careful, but I'm only one man, and you don't mean... My God, that's horrible. I could have been responsible for this? I mean, accidentally responsible. No, hell no. Even if I did screw up, and I didn't, Heather followed my stage directions and fired away from Merrill, angled to one side. If a real round did accidentally get fired out of that thing, it wouldn't have struck Merrill anyway.
You seem sure of that.
Damn sure, for 3 reasons. First, I saw the stunt go down. I saw Heather fire at an angle. Second, I count the bullets I use, always. And with that photo shoot, I clearly remember doing that, both before and after. And finally, I always disassemble, clean, and oil the prop weapons after they've been used. Those are continuity photos. You know, making sure that things are in exactly the same spot next time you see them.
I've heard of that in film work, but never in a live theater performance.
Oh, it's common enough. When we hustle the props around, we've got to track them, scene to scene. Photos make a handy crib sheet.
But your continuity photos seem to track Merrill Regis specifically, scene to scene. Almost all of these continuity photos are of her.
Hey, can I help? She was the star of the show? A rifle missing. Hey, that's news to me.
Really? But you're so careful, Mr. Harrison. And yes, it's gone from the rack. Do you recall that specific weapon?
If it's the one I'm thinking of, bolt action rifle, 30 caliber. Telescopic sight on that puppy. We did a show about a sniper killer a while back.
Must have been another musical. You're an expert, Mr. Harrison. How tough would it be to make a homemade noise suppressor for a weapon like that?
Well, probably not tough at all. A lot of do-it-yourself stuff floating around the internet. But you'd still have to know what you were doing. It ain't just any chump can build one.
Sounds like work for an expert. Right, Mr. Harrison?
Why the hell would anybody do that?
Why don't we ask the questions, Mr. Harrison? You see, we found tool marks on the bullet fragments that killed Merrill. The same kind of bullets as the dummies in your prop room. It'd be easy to pull the bullet out of a dummy and load it into a gun with a blank behind it. Then you wait in the orchestra pit for the exact moment when Heather shoots. And from the darkness, shoot Merrill yourself. An instant accident.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't just go out and buy a damn bullet. I'd make a homemade one.
You see, there's a paper trail when you buy cartridges, Gus. You had a handy supply in the prop room. A little work, a little knowledge. That was all it took.
Hey, I can see how you put these pieces together, but it ain't the right picture. I didn't do any of this crap. Maybe somebody else did. But it's a big theater, and a lot of people have access.
But you keep the prop room locked, don't you? Safety-conscious guy like you?
Hey, sometimes it stands open when I'm hauling things around. And stuff could get taken from the stage, too. My inventory, as you already seen, can be a little lax sometimes.
Right. Like the missing rifle from the rack? Gus, we already know from trajectory analysis that the shot came from the orchestra pit.
I'm only in that pit during stunts when performances are underway. And I don't know what happened to that damn rifle. Is this what I get for cooperating? Do I need a lawyer or something?
That's your call, Mr. Harrison. But cooperating with us is a good idea. Maybe you can tell us if you have the tool that's missing from your wall rack.
I can. It's right here. Multi-purpose puppy in my pocket. Take it. Knock yourself out. If I had anything to do with this, I wouldn't be cooperating, right? Right? Hey, she was alive last time I saw her.
You mean from the pit, during the stunt?
No. I mean, after her death scene, I checked on her. I was down in the pit, yes, where I was supposed to be, and she was laying on the stage, just where she was supposed to be. Meryl whispered, kinda irritated like, that she got a bit of a backblast from the squib. I told her I'd fix that for her, before the performance.
Fortunately for you, Mr. Harrison, the squib we analyzed tends to corroborate your story. Meryl's protective plate was damaged, and you couldn't have known about the backblast unless you had really spoken with Meryl after the squib detonated. But we have to follow every thread.
Look, I know you do. I said I'd cooperate, and what have I been doing? So if you don't mind an outside expert asking, if Meryl was flat on the stage when she was shot, what does that do to your trajectory notions?
It calls for another look, back at the theater.
I don't want to play pin the tail on some other poor sucker, but I gotta admit, showbiz, the theater, it's a dog-eat-dog deal. Lots of big egos, lots of insecurity. Crazy. Take Heather, for instance. Right before rehearsal, she had this knockdown drag-out with Meryl. I'm surprised you ain't figured that out yourselves already. Evidence guys like you?
You're still on our list of suspects, Mr. Harrison.
Yeah, I can live with that. As long as you promise to cross off my name when you realize I had nothing to do with this. Listen, I hold on to this job by being discreet. But yeah, that's Heather and Meryl going at it. Kind of a lover's quarrel, if you get my drift. Stirring an angry husband and you've got an instant soap opera. But that's all you get on that from me. Go to the sources if you want more.
Heather and Clayton have probably left the theater by now. We could try to track them down at their homes.
An easy one for once. Got it. 1486 Westfield Crescent. Nice neighborhood on the east side. No prob. Here you go. 216 Vermont Drive, residential area, northwest.
Listen, guys, I understand you have a job to do, but I'm mourning the loss of my wife, and I just don't have any stomach for this right now, okay?
That's all we need right now.
Excuse me?
Gus told us about it. I guess when you fight on stage, the stage manager notices.
Oh, that. No, that was no argument. We were just agreeably disagreeing over the motivation of my character. In the scene, maybe I got a wee bit bent out of shape, since this was my role we're talking about, not hers. Creative differences. Sisterly squabble.
Including a sisterly black eye?
Black eye? What are you talking about? You know, suddenly, I am not liking the tone of this. I don't want you poking around in my things, my business, not unless it's official. Understand?
Yeah? What do you need, guys? It's likely evidence at the Colby woman's home might corroborate your stage manager's story, along with his peeping Tom pics. You've got your warrant.
All right. All right. Anything to put an end to this.
That's all we need right now. Heather's a college grad, bachelor in performing arts. Think these will fit me? Passion's running a little hot, but I wouldn't call this a love letter. Certain kinds of bodily fluids fluoresce, such as the kind you'd expect to discover in clothing like this, after a stimulating night.
Hey. I sent the prints you found on the letter over to the computer. Profiler friend of mine at the FBI gave this a thorough content analysis. Sometimes even a short message can provide insight, though a longer message would have been better. My guy says we're likely looking for somebody with a university education, sociable, assertive, who tends to read a lot of very visual, descriptive fiction. Screenplays, maybe. Okay, good news, bad news. This could be the mystery tool from the prop room wall, but it wasn't the tool that made the marks on the bullet fragment from the Vic's wound.
That still doesn't clear Gus, though. Guy always seems to know more than he's saying.
Vaginal fluid. Got a little excited myself. Well, because this is a great source for DNA.
Not sure if we've got a match in this group. Whoever wrote this letter was in the prop room recently. We've confirmed that soap opera tale our stage manager was hinting about. Either Meryl and Heather were sharing their undies, or they were sharing a lot more than that. But infidelity is a three-way street, meaning to Meryl and Heather, we have to add Clayton.
What's up? Search of National College records? Sure. Clayton Regis, 92, got a bachelor's in anatomy and physiology. Maine University, Fort Trent. Decent marks, got through on a biathlon scholarship. Few credits short of a diploma, though.
Biathlon. That's skiing and sharpshooting.
An argument and a love affair? While your trajectory analysis suggests she probably didn't kill Meryl herself, we still need the story between those two.
If I were, and I didn't say that, what business of yours would that be? Why can't you let Meryl rest in peace?
She might rest more peacefully with her murderer behind bars. We have physical evidence suggesting you two are intimate. We'd like you to confirm that.
Would you? Try holding your breath. You look cute in blue. I had nothing to do with that.
Really? You definitely fit the profile of the person who wrote it. Now we just want to know who you were going to send it to.
I don't know what your computers or your experts told you, but I didn't write that damn letter, all right? I found it under my door the other day. If you would like to know who might want to threaten me, I'd suggest you look at that abusive husband of hers. Clayton, where do you think she got that black eye from anyway? All right. Anything to put an end to this.
His profile matches the analysis from the letter. His wife was sleeping around with another woman, who implies that Clayton was the one who gave Meryl the black eye. Well, I'd say that's an invitation to dine. Go see what the happy couple's home has to tell us.
Of course. They were co-starring in a show. They're old pals who both live in town. Is it surprising Meryl would be over there quite a bit? Why? What do you know that I don't know? I was wondering about that. The mortician had to cover it up. I thought it had something to do with her falling after she was shot. Heather Colby? Of course not. Why would you even suggest that? She and I aren't friends particularly, but I wouldn't... Hey, I mean, I have no reason to talk to her, let alone send her letters. I told you this was a bad time. Okay, look, just try to have a little respect, will you?
That's all we need right now. Bruno Pagli Lozano loafers, size 10. Well, our anatomy student seems to keep up his studies. Maybe he's finally going to finish that diploma. Or maybe he's already graduated, murder cum laude. Pair of pliers. Looks like they were tossed in here recently. That's really strange. There's some holes drilled into this soap. We need to check out Gus's story. If Meryl was laying on stage, playing dead at the time she was shot, our trajectory theory is out of whack. Let's see where it points to. Now we got it. With the sloping angle of the wound, if Meryl was laying on stage when she was shot, it would have come from that box seat. Interesting print. Impressed more towards the instep, suggesting a slight pronation. Looks like a shoe print, loafer, or maybe dress shoes. Faint trace of some powder. Nice catch. You are good. Water stain, possibly.
What's up? That print has been scanned into the computer for you. Walk over to the computer and you'll find that shoe print scanned in. Shoe print scanned in the computer. Traces of barium, lead, and antimony, main ingredients of that ever-popular favorite, gunshot residue.
So we've narrowed down our killer's perch. Now if we can only narrow in on the killer, and a reason for the killing.
Well, at first I thought we had residue from drinking water. See, I found traces of fluoride. Only further tests gave up various levels of copper, cadmium, nickel, and antimony. Water picks up traces of these elements passing through various pipes. You may be able to narrow down the neighborhood of origin with a computer search. Bruno Pagli Lozano's. Definitely my style, definitely not my price range. I'll scan them into the computer for you. Perfect match to the tool used to pry the bullet out of its casing. Bar of soap, holes drilled into it. When I noticed they came to a point, I remembered that missing .308 caliber rifle your stage manager mentioned earlier. That got me to thinking, and I took some measurements.
Let me guess. Same as that rifle?
You're guessing again. I'm gonna tell Grissom that you're right. Perfect cast of a .308 caliber rifle bullet. Standard drinking thermos for keeping things hot or cold. Little water in it, so I took a leap and sent a sample to the computer for you to search the chemical profile.
We've got a drama unfolding worthy of the Colossus stage. Soap, drilled to the same caliber as bullets that could be used in the missing bolt-action rifle, and pliers that match the tool marks to the smaller .22 caliber bullet that pierced Meryl's heart. Can't be positive, but I think there's a match in one of these results. This comes as close as possible to matching the shoe prints found on the carpet. I'm starting to like Meryl's husband for this. How about you? Seems the owner of these shoes from the prop room has been lurking around the balcony box seats. Not surprising that it's from a municipal water supply. Interesting. The water that made the stain in the balcony came from a municipal water supply. Hey, it's nearly identical in chemical profile to the water we found in that thermos.
What? Where? Oh, at the Colossus? No, if I'm around for rehearsals, I watch from the dress circle.
Need something? Sure, let's get your suspect back in here.
Of course I do. I run the prop room. How many times? Some detectives you guys are. I mean, duh.
Well, we can't all be experts like you, Mr. Harrison. By the way, we found your footprints in the balcony. For somebody innocent of this crime, you seem to be everywhere. Everywhere you shouldn't be.
Hey, I'm the damn stage manager. See a broken light bulb in the box seats during rehearsal, so I go up and replace it while Heather's singing her song. So sue me. Of course I did. It's my job to notice junk like that. I'll call a plumber in when I'm not spending all my time talking to cops who want to pin a murder on my innocent tail.
Plenty of mounting evidence against hubby here. Too much to ignore. A little grief counseling seems called for.
What are you talking about? I was never up there. Why would I be there?
You tell us, because we can prove you were. Your shoe prints match prints on the carpet, and water stains from the floor match the chemical composition of water from your home.
Water from my part of town found in that balcony? Oh, how damning. It's a real smoking gun, huh? You people. You take somebody going through the kind of horror I am, and then you make crazy accusations based on flimsy circumstantial evidence?
Oh, we're just getting started, Mr. Regis. Of course, you could give us something that might clear all of this up right away.
What's my other option?
There isn't one. That's all we need right now.
Yes. Prints in the computer for you. You're welcome.
Well, after all this, we're down to CSI 101. Fingerprints that match. Doesn't get much more incriminating than this. I think it's time to fold Clayton's show.
What's up? Yeah, let's see if your suspect has anything else to tell us.
Confession? Here's what I will confess. I loved my wife, and I miss her dearly, and I would never harm a hair on her head.
Maybe not, but you give her a black eye, right? You see, Mr. Regis, while you're lying, your fingerprints refuse to. You wrote that threatening note, you found out Meryl and Heather were an item, and gave your beloved a black eye over it. But you were just warming up. You were hanging around when that photo shoot, including the gun close-ups, was underway. You saw and took an opportunity. You snuck into the prop room, stole a scoped rifle as well as a couple of bullets and a blank round. Easy enough to cobble together a noise suppressor, wrap the barrel in a towel, or baffle it with a plastic bottle. Making a mold in the soap, you froze the smaller handgun bullet into an eye-shaped bullet big enough to fire from the rifle. You dropped your wife off at the theater, went to Java Net and Brew for an alibi, then snuck back into the balcony with the rifle and thermos packed with ice to keep your ammunition cold. There, you waited patiently for Meryl to lower herself onto that stage and make an easy target for a biathlon marksman like you. The idea was to make it all look like an accident. When the ice melted away, all that would be left was a bullet that matched the caliber of handgun Heather was holding. The photo shoot provided a reasonable explanation for a bullet winding up accidentally in Heather's gun when she pulled the trigger. What a sweet irony, huh, Mr. Regis? Kill your cheating wife and at the same time bestow her lover with a lifetime of guilt?
Smug. So smug. What do you know about it? I put myself second to that woman. Her career was the be-all and end-all, and that was fine. I loved her. I believed in her. I was happy to be the house husband pursuing his modest little local career while she made it big. But making it with that tramp wasn't part of the bargain. I sacrificed everything for that woman.
Yes, you did, Mr. Regis. You really did.
All the world may be a stage, only here at CSI we won't play the fool. An ice bullet puts the cold in cold-blooded murder, but a crime of passion always makes for mistakes in the heat of the moment.